recording in the cloud. I'm setting it up now. So we are now starting to record our class to the cloud. If anybody does have questions about the recording, please let me know. We have lots of different recordings. And in addition to the overall contacts of myself and the teaching team, and access to all of the files through the university CTL, I have set this class up so that the documents are accessible with the Google Drive. Unfortunately, with coronavirus, the world is now moving quickly online and using and sharing a lot of documents, so Google seems to be overloaded. And while in the past, every action that somebody wrote would be immediately recorded, now Google is a little bit behind. So when you record your details in the class files, like information for the attendance, you should have your names here and your emails here, your weekly topics and your term topic focuses, that should all be recorded here. Sometimes you may finish details and then leave the file, and somebody else is still working on the file at the same time, and they only record the other person's details. So as you can see on my screen, it says here at the top, a newer version has been uploaded and restored. Your changes have been saved in a version history. So if you put something in, you may have to check the version history, and that's recorded up here. It says this file was edited 27 minutes ago. You may need to click on this and see one of the older versions if your information has changed. So I'm teaching you how to use the online technology to work with other people for human resource management in class. And at the same time, Ali, another one of our teaching assistants, is also sending you guys email and survey forms to sign up for these documents. So please make sure you're listing which weekly focus you're interested in, you're listing which term focus you're interested in, and most importantly, especially for this class, everybody must understand this blue area. Korean classes are often conducted in a hierarchical structure with a closed group of specific people. But this class is going to be talking about international business and human resource management. So to learn about the international aspects, everybody must have proactive, participative management within the class. So you will get attendance marks for contributing here. And you make this, and other team members can comment on some of these things, but it's generally required that you contribute once per week to get your free attendance points. Now, with that said, I'm going to jump back over to the introduction of our topic. This week, we are focused on human resource planning. Hopefully everybody can see me and hear me. There's a lot of activities that we can identify. All of these activities inside the PPT can be seen, together with inside the HRM schedule. You see week 1 had the PPT for week 1, and we also had articles related to week 1. And this is here, every class file is saved online, and you can see them and access them here if you want. It pops up and it looks like this week's activities for today. These are the main focuses that we're going to be looking at. Next, for this week, the first main article we're talking about is hiring the right people. So I'm going to be going through the PPT, talking about HR planning. What is HR? What are our learning objectives? And I'm going to bounce back and forth between our PPT form and an article that is talking about hiring the right people. And that looks like this. This is the file here, hiring the right people. I've gone through and I have identified some of the main things to focus on for this. is the fact that Carlos Brito, anybody know who Carlos Brito is?
No.
No? Thank you for participating, even though you're saying no. Maybe you get points for it. I didn't see who said that, but hopefully Ali did. Carlos Brito is one of the world's best CEOs.
Wasn't he one of the...
Sorry, go ahead.
I think that was like the brewery, like a company that bought all smaller breweries, and he was the CEO of them, that like from Heineken, etc. So like a big brewery company. And
yes,
he was the CEO of that.
Anheuser-Busch InBev company. It's a huge company based in Belgium, multinational brewing company. Yes, exactly. But many people don't know of him, which is normal. They do know about Jeff Bezos, for example. He is the CEO, but he gets a lot more attraction because he's, you know, the richest guy in the world right now. Elon Musk is getting a lot of attention because he's very popular in the media and with Tesla's rapid growth. Carlos Brito is almost just as famous and very highly ranked because of his management style. And so we're going to be going through talking about what he thinks makes success. And part of the summary is hiring the right people. The only way to be successful is to work with and hire the right people. So one of the questions at the beginning of our class today was talking about how can we get the right people to work with in a group project? And so you all must learn the only way to be successful is to learn how to work with other people, how to delegate effectively, how to assign tasks to people that have the right skill sets. If you don't do that and try to just work on your own, you can proceed, you can, you know, go forward. But research shows you will have a much, much harder time being successful if you try to do it alone. So try to learn how to hire the right people, try to learn how to manage the right people, try to learn how to work with the right people, even if the level of performance is lower than yours or higher than yours. Accommodate for those things. We'll talk about that in the class. So again, we're looking at Chapter 5, Human Resource Planning today. And the learning objectives are talking about defining what is this? I've already started to talk about it. It is the idea of hiring the right people, training the right people, identifying the right people, managing the right people, getting the right people to work together with you. If you have mediocre people, your company will be mediocre, and because of that, your company may fail. If you have poor people, almost guaranteed you will fail. You need to understand that the top companies, the most successful companies, have the most successful people working with them. They have the top talent. Some of the videos that I linked in the week's topic, for example, this video talks about the best recruiter at Google, and over here we also have information about where people want to work. So this is a video for the Google's VP of Operations. I'm not sharing the volume right now, but this is talking about how Google got so successful, and it's because they focus on hiring the best people. This interviewer said, is it because you hire the most innovative people? And the VP of Human Resources, they quickly said, oh, just a second, we don't only focus on hiring the most innovative, we focus on hiring the best. Sometimes they may be better at something else rather than innovation. Innovation is just one aspect of many features of people that we look for. So every student in this class, we have about 50 students we're working with here in our class. And if things go well, I hear you are interested, I may be able to introduce you to students in other countries and other classes. There's classes in Vietnam, classes in India, classes in Delhi, India, classes in Nepal, classes in Denmark, and classes in California. we may be able to have interactions with with all of those if students show a strong interest. So use our week 1, week 2, week 3 requirements that you must fill out these details, show your contacts, show what you're interested in, show that you are interested in working with outside people. And then on Thursday, September 10th at 5 p.m., I have another extra Zoom meeting, our second Zoom meeting for this week, set up at a special time so that you can meet some people from outside this class and get outside class advice, mentorship, participation for doing your weekly activities and your group projects, especially the group projects.
Professor?
So,
Hello.
can you put your hand up, put the icon on your hand up so I know who's talking?
I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm Kyunggon Jung, but I believe that you have to revise the file, the Excel file, because they're not, I mean, how do I say, there are not many students as before.
That
one.
could be right, yes. But as you see here at the top, and as we said last class, every student must be able to take responsibility for their work and delegating. So if you have written something, you should save a copy. Like over here, you can make a copy or save a copy for yourself, just in case. So I'm showing you a blank sheet now with almost no information on purpose, because everybody must realize week 1, not very important. Week 2, not very important. But each week that goes by, you can get 1 mark, 2 marks, and then eventually you can get 100 marks for this all together. Make the mistake at the beginning by not saving. For example, if you make your term paper and that gets deleted, you're going to lose 60 marks and it's going to be a disaster. So start learning how to save copies of things. So if it doesn't show up in the class files, you have your copy for backup. So Jung Kyung-gon, hopefully
Yes,
that answers your question.
Yeah, actually, I was talking about the list of the students.
Okay.
That
So yeah,
some
this
students have.
this list of students is changing all the time, right?
Yeah.
We really get information from the CTL. Yes, that will continue to develop as we go forward. Thank you.
Okay.
Can you show me, before you finish talking, that you know how to put up the icon to raise your hand in the class? Ali, at the same time, can you use your icon to raise your hand and show people how to raise the hands? So when you go, yes. So now Ali, now if you guys can see my sheet, in your list of participants, Ali has a beautiful blue hand raised so we can see who's talking. That will help interactions go smoothly. So everybody, please make sure you know how to do that. And I believe when you go to the names, you can lower the hand here and you can raise your hand here. You can also raise hands or lower hands in these 3 dots at the bottom. So hopefully everybody knows how to do those things now. Thank you very much, Ali. Yes, question.
Just want to update that if you are in phone, so it's quite different from that if you're using desktop. If you are using phone, so you can see the more button and then raise hand. But if you are using desktop, you should click on participants. And then there is the 3 options: invite, raise hand, and mute. So you should, it will be different from desktop and phone to make sure that everybody knows how to raise your hand.
Thank you very much for that. So let's get back to I hope that answered your question. If there's any other questions, let me know. Otherwise, we'll jump back into the main PPT. Summarizing the relationship between HR, human resource management, human resource planning, and organizational planning, talking about the strategy between all of these things, the steps in the human resource planning process, describe the different methods used for forecasting human resource needs, and the purpose of skills inventory. The textbook that we're using goes over and discusses some skills, but I also have been teaching this and just finished teaching a group from the UK and Vietnam. I'd like to share with you more information about identifying your own skills. Some of the students earlier in class have identified challenges getting to interact with others or partner with others. It may be worthwhile to identify what are your skills, what are you very good at, and then after you identify your own skills, you can better identify team members that might complement you and your skills. And what I mean by that is Carl Jung had a human metrics or a Briggs-Meyer topology indicators survey that would identify each person's skills and capabilities and personality. It's not talked about too much in class, but that message from Carl Jung and the Briggs-Meyer test indicator or Myers-Briggs test indicator website related to that is called humanmetrics.com. So humanmetrics.com can help you identify your skills and skills of others and how you can work with them. Next, we'll briefly go over succession planning, not very much today, we might skip some of that. The human resource information system, Julian may talk a little bit more about that. My PhD is in some areas of this. It is very important to learn how to work with information systems and the technology, especially the big data. As we go throughout the semester, we're going to talk more about the key performance indicators and performance reviews, managing by objectives, various things that are connected with data of projects and data of workers to identify, is somebody ready for promotion? Is somebody ready for just regular pay? Or is somebody ready to be fired, terminated? A lot of that comes with the human resource information systems details. And then the idea of internet versus intranet, those details. As I just said, learning about working with information online, whether it's Web 1.0 and information, basic listings in the internet, to social collaborative information that we should all definitely excel in now, to the semantic web, where the web was actually starting to learn. And now we're getting into the web and artificial intelligence and machine learning. So programs can learn on their own. And I have seen many times companies laying off a lot of people and just starting to use robots. Even in developing countries like India, Nepal, a lot in Vietnam, even the giant car manufacturers do not have that many staff as they used to once upon a time. So learning how technology is impacting details is a big aspect that we're talking about. Overall, again, the introduction, human resource planning, it's a process determining the human resource needs of an organization. This is a definition, and it talks about the number of qualified people in the right jobs at the right time, but it doesn't actually say what me, I'm like a 50-year-old guy. I've worked with a variety of companies that I'm very proud and very lucky to be associated with. And every one of them that is good and successful and growing, it's only because of their people. It is not because of their service or their product. A product or service, just like in the VHS tapes, you can have a beta product, which is better than VHS, but because of the people managing the inferior product, they win and they become more successful. So every company must realize that success comes from people management and delegating and identifying the best people, surrounding yourself with the best people. So try very hard in class to show who you are, show what type of person you are, contribute to the class, help me stop talking, help me talk less and listen more. I want to hear from you as much as possible, even though we have 50 students in class. Maybe get somebody in your group to represent your group and say something, because successful people is what makes successful organizations, successful groups, successful companies. So planning. Significant lead time exists between the recognition of the need to fill a job and securing a qualified person. Even more beyond that, does anybody want to guess? We have almost 50 people in class. If you're working with a famous company like Samsung and an executive quits, how long does it usually take a company to recover back to growth? Because obviously when one person quits, the company slows down. So I can go through and randomly select anybody, but who wants to put their hand up, the icon up, and start getting points for talking in class to identify how long do you think it normally takes a company like Samsung to recover after an employee quits or gets fired? How long does it take to replace somebody and go back to business as usual?
Professor.
Top of the list. I see Angara Suksana. Can you guess? No comment from Angara Suksana. How about Dar LB Zillion? Going once, twice.
I want again the question, please.
The question was, how long do you think it takes for a company to recover after somebody quits or somebody is fired? How do you replace somebody?
I think in my point of view, I think 5 years.
You think if somebody quit, it takes the company 5 years to recover?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
if that company get the right people.
Maybe if they have some genius and they have very poor HRM department, maybe. Okay, good guess. Anybody else in class? Can somebody? Okay, Minsu Kim. Thank you, Minsu Kim.
Yes, Professor. So I think it would, to me, in my opinion, I think it would depend more on the department of which company it is working. But I think to a person to be fully like productive, to be able to help the company, it would be taking at least like 6 months or 1 year, like in order to fully understand the process of the new company and how the company works. That's what I think.
Okay, would you like to explain a little bit more about your thoughts? Why did you pick 6 months or 1 year?
I did pick 6 months and between 6 months and 1 year because I think less than 6 months, the person is still trying to getting used to the company, not only to the company, but with the other workers as well. Because sometimes a person might be reluctant to learn be afraid to try to innovate and do something new, to share their ideas, because it's really hard to share their ideas in a new environment.
Exactly. Well, I hope everybody in class is listening to that, because everybody in class may be reluctant to share, but everybody is new in class. And so if you share something, it will be easier for other people to share. And if other people share, it makes it easier for you to have success. So yes, okay, that's a good point. Thank you very much, Minsu Kim. How about Felix? You're next. Felix Braun?
I would also say the same, like 6 months, something like that, because of all the different systems also used in the different companies. Like if maybe from another, if he changed from one department to the next, maybe it's a little bit shorter time because he knows the people. But if he really gets new in the company, maybe it's longer than 6 months, like 8 months, according to the complexity of the department or the information systems.
So you are saying 6 months, and it depends on the complexity of the job or the department. Okay. Any other aspects might impact the length of time other than how long it takes for somebody to learn new details? No? Okay. What about
No.
Marissa? Marissa Muntz?
Professor, I think
Right now I'm talking with Marissa Muntz. She has her hand up next.
okay.
Go ahead, Marissa.
I just wanted to add that the person that leaves the job also is very important at that point, because when you leave a job, I think the last 3 months, efficiency and like productivity of that person also goes down. And then maybe the person that goes into that job after that has to also recover more of what the person left behind when he left. So I think also like 6 months in total is a very good guess, also from Felix and from Kim. So I would also go with that, actually.
Okay, so you're following together with everybody, and that's a great point. So Ms. Kim and Felix, they were saying that the company slows down and takes 6 months to recover because the new person will take 6 months to learn the new details. Right. And Marissa has very intelligently and wisely identified an additional impact, because when the person is planning to quit, they're not focused on their job. They don't care about their job. They might be leaving. So their productivity goes down also. Right. So the company is slowing down even before then. Good. Thank you very much for that, Marissa. Any other comments about length of time or other aspects that would slow down a company? Somebody else was about to start talking, but I didn't see the hand up. Who else wants to try identifying the length of time it takes to replace a staff and return business to the normal growth? Somebody else was going to talk.
Hello.
Going.
Can I?
Okay, Jiwan So, it looks like you're at the top saying something. Is that you trying to say something?
Yes, Professor.
Okay,
So,
next, go ahead. You can start talking now, but next time, please learn how to use the Zoom icon to raise your hand. Great, thanks. Go ahead.
so I think in case of Apple, when Steve Jobs died, Tim Cook took his place, but I think it took like a year or 2 years for Tim Cook to be regarded as the real CEO of Apple, because I think Tim Cook, the Steve Jobs was a symbol of Apple, and then it took like a year or 2 years for Tim Cook to be regarded as a real CEO. So at first he wasn't so confident when he was doing presentations, but now he is really confident, and he is regarded as the real CEO of Apple.
Yes, so sometimes when a person is working well with a company, they have all the company's resources figured out, and they're using the company resources and people to help them. Small things like marketing department will be making your name cards and promoting the company with you in it. It's not just what you do to make success, but other people in the company promote you and leverage you to be successful. So good, that is a very good point. Yes, overall, it's a minimum of 6 months to over a year to 12, 15 months is very popular for a company to return to the normal growth. Even if you see a staff can quit or get fired and replaced in the next week, the company still slows down a lot. And so think about that now. Think about that in your situation, in your life now. You are new in a new company. We've just replaced everybody and started a new class. You need to make a new department, a new team project. Don't just join a team with your friends. That's easy, but it's not wise. It's not effective. It's not usually efficient. It's better if you identify what are your capabilities, what are your needs, what are the needs of the organization or the class, and try to partner with other people that would complement your skill set. That's why, again, I give bonus points for groups having an international member in their group, and make sure that we get points for people that proactively fill out the Excel file and contribute to the class each week. So yes. With all of this, now that we're talking about replacing staff, you should know that the best thing human resource department should do is reduce quitting or firing. Make sure you understand people before you get them, so you reduce turnover. Keep your employees apprised of the career opportunities within the company. Make sure that you know what's going on. Again, I'm teaching international human resource management, not just Korean human resource management or Asian human resource management. Many times in Asia, an individual will do well in Asia by promoting your boss. Maybe you invent some great papers or inventions, but if you give that to your boss and the boss promotes it, then the boss will have an easier time being successful, and the boss will pull you up. That is considered loyal. That is considered good in many parts of Asia and traditionally in Korea. But outside Korea, you need to work also individually. So thank you for participating with that. Now I want to jump into one of the first main articles I have identified, and Julian has nicely identified in the Excel file for our weekly topics, talking about how human resource planning relates to organizational planning. Strategic business planning seeks to identify factors critical to success. You have to, some people say you have to have a clear statement of the organization's mission. Well, that's some, not all. Our example here shows that they don't care what the mission is. Other people say that you need to have a commitment of staff members to the mission. Well, if you don't have a mission, the textbook says these things, but this one of the world's most famous CEOs, what he's saying is not relevant. So learn from the textbook that you should have a good mission. You should have commitment from staff members. That's true, but not always. Make sure you have a very clear, explicit statement of assumptions, what you want. And it's not always just one word. My classes are very different than Korean classes are managed. I am usually using the international, the North American way of collaborative, participative management, allowing students to modify the evaluations in the first week of class. Unfortunately, I didn't hear of any students suggesting alternatives to change the grading system, so we're going to continue. But we can modify some of the topics we're going to talk about. If you want to talk about that, we will have collaborative management styles, not just one autocratic director like the Korean system or many Asian systems. Next, make sure we have a good plan of action in light of available or acquirable resources, and that means people, talented people. So let's jump over into hire the right people. So if we click on this, we will see not just this file, Let me show you, where is it here? Okay, maybe it is easier just to go back through and open this one. Oh, here it is here. So again, this article, has anybody gone through this article yet? Ali, you have your hand up. Would you like to summarize this? Would you have something to say, Ali? I can't hear you, but your microphone is muted.
Yeah, okay.
Did you have something to say?
No, actually, that's I raised hand before, not
Okay.
for this part.
What about Unso Lim?
Yeah.
Since you're at the top, Unso Lim, did you happen to read this, hire the right people in advance before class? Do you know anything about what this is talking about?
No, I didn't read yet.
Okay, then can you
Sorry.
You pick another student in class and check if they know about this article. So Unso Lim, pick any other student and ask them a question. If they know about what this is saying. Can somebody help summarize this? Unso Lim, just list.
Yes. Choose the
Yell.
student.
Yes, pick some other student.
Chu Young Lee.
Okay, Jung Lee. Can you comment?
So I didn't read it yet.
Okay, then your turn to guess the next person. Can you guess, can you pick another student to check?
Hamin Park.
Hamin Park, your turn.
Unfortunately, I didn't read this article as well. I'm sorry.
Good experience. So I'm making sure people are next week and going forward, everybody needs to check the details in advance so we can discuss topics in class. And students, hopefully from next week or very soon, are going to start managing some of these details. You should submit your information 1 week in advance so students can prepare and have more class discussions rather than just one person lecturing. So I will go ahead and I'll start introducing part of this. I'll start sharing the screen again. So this concept, the article, Hire the Right People. As you can see here, Carlos Brito is the CEO of Anheuser-Busch InBev. It's a Belgium-based company. He is talking about the importance of performance culture in a corporate environment. So this idea of performance culture in the environment, that's what we're focused on. And then one of the things he's talking about is coaches. Coaches take on the full responsibility, and what we're talking about in United States, most people look at United States companies for international management. I want to hear from 1 or 2 students about that comment. Many people look at United States companies for how to do international management. In United States, most families, most people, most companies, most schools are focused on support, number 1. School becomes famous mostly because of their sports team. And the whole city in many places in the United States will focus on watching those sports teams play. And so the head of that sports team, or the coach, takes on the full responsibility for recruiting players, training them, putting on the appropriate levels of pressure, kicking butts, and hiring, firing the teammates. And so that is what usually they say is a natural process, and it develops athletes fully to participate and get the success. But companies do not do that. What do companies usually do? Anybody? Can somebody tell me what companies normally do? If you don't have a coach in a company, how do you hire the best athlete in your company? What about Heijin Jun? Can you comment? What does a company do? No comment from Heijin Jun. What about Hyunjang Jo? Jo Hyunjang?
Yes.
Can you answer the question? The question was, in North America, most organizations become successful copying sports teams. from companies focused on sports to schools focused on sports, and the athletes inside the sports team are controlled by a coach. But companies don't have a coach. What do they have instead? How can a company grow similar to a sports team?
Sorry, I don't know.
Okay. What about Gulkayo Alikan? I can't really hear you. So overall, what they're saying here is players recognize that they will be treated differently than other team members based on their level of performance and their activities, their work, and based on who are the star players around them. Each member of a team is aware of this, and lower performing players, what we say here, lower performing players or lower staff or lower employees, lower workers, they must seek to improve so they can also be at the top. That's in a company. Sorry, that's in a sports team. In a company, we have the HR department, which is supposed to manage this. HR is supposed to manage communications so that the workers reflect the company culture, but also that we hire the right people and that the right people get promoted and get support. So HR is just like a sports coach. And he says, the CEO of Anheuser-Busch InBev, the CEO points out that this process breaks down in companies. Unlike coaches who recruit for the team, company leaders, usually they don't have the time to create the best, so it's usually outsourced to the human resource department. Imagine what's going to happen if the coach of a team lets somebody else hire the next best athlete or manage the next best athlete. Obviously, things fall apart. So it's just going to show you that human resource departments often control how successful a company is going to be. And it relates to how they communicate, how they interact, how they hire, how they train, and how they help individuals communicate their plans for company success. So as we go through this reading, it's important to understand that the CEO, he focuses on the philosophy between company or corporate performance and individual performance as well. So corporate performance and individual performance are both important. They're linked. That's why the hiring and retaining of the best people will result in the highest performing company. So how can you have the best company? You must hire and retain and promote and develop the right staff. So how are we going to do that? It's, in this guy's opinion, it breaks down into three areas: your culture of your company, the dream of the company, the people of the company, and again, as I said, the culture of the company. So with those areas, those three areas, the culture, the people, and the dream or mission, those things need to align. So with the culture, often a company will maintain the status quo when it comes to retaining employees. If somebody's doing a job, many companies don't want to fire them if they're just doing so-so. Take a look at it, most universities in Korea. Most universities in Korea don't actually have a very active coach that goes out to recruit the best teacher in the world. They don't usually have a coach that goes out and yells at a teacher to improve their teaching style or their research style. What does a company do? Or what does a university do? Do you guys know how a university hires somebody or how they recruit somebody similar to a company in Korea? Felix, go ahead.
Maybe I can just say how it's like in my university in Austria. It's just like an interview. The professor came to the university and then goes in a room, and then he have to handle like a little topic and speak about that. And after that, the other professors decide if it was okay. And then there's like 1 year, he's on, how to say, on watch. So if the students who listen to the lecture from him and they're not really satisfied from the lecture, then they evaluate him, and after 1 year he gets then kicked out.
Okay, so in your university, they bring somebody in. We don't know how they bring somebody in, but they bring somebody in and other people must watch them teaching a class. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's like
okay. So
interview.
We watch somebody teach a class. Good, that is good. Many universities here in Korea don't do that. Internationally, a lot of the fastest growing universities and fastest growing companies, they will require that worker or the teacher, the professor, to show an example of their teaching skills. So yes, just like Felix said, a teacher or a new recruit comes in and they pretend to teach a class in front of other teachers. But that doesn't match the corporate culture or university culture. Does anybody know what is a university culture focused on? We're all in a university. What generally makes a university successful? What makes a university rise in international ranking? Is it how good their teachers are or how sexy their teachers look? No, obviously, look at me. It's not how I look. What makes a university culture? What makes a university ranking? Anybody know? No comment. Wow. So you guys have you've invested your life coming to a university that you don't know how it actually ranks. Wow, that's interesting. Ali, are you about to say something? I see you putting up your hand, or are you just showing people how to put up their hands?
Yeah. From my comments, I think that there is one aspect that we can design the university is have a high ranking is the graduated students have a good job after they graduate.
That is an amazing answer, but most universities don't actually track that. Most universities in the world, they want to track their alumni and find out what the students are doing and how successful they are, but most universities don't actually follow that. So it's a good guess. They should. More universities should, because that is the most important, right? But they're focused on something else. Gunsu Kim, you have a comment. What's your comment?
I kind of have a similar opinion with her that the way after the graduation, how the students contribute to the society, and
wow, you're an idealist. You want to make the world fair and solve all cancer and solve poverty and inequality. That would be perfect if it helps society. But oh my gosh, we are so far away from that. Most universities don't track that at all. They talk about it. They say it because it sounds good. But how could you do it? Any comments from you before we go on to Marissa? Marissa, go ahead. What's your comment?
I would say it's about the professors and the associate professors, like how they do their research and like how much they develop themselves in their studies on the university, I think.
You're getting very close. Can you explain a little bit better? The university, right, other students said it would be great if universities track how the university helps society. That would be perfect. But I don't know how to do that, and most universities don't track it. They just talk about it because it sounds cool. Other people said they bring in teachers and they check how well they teach. And that's kind of nice for universities tracking teaching. But the world's best universities, the top ranked universities, they follow something different. Marissa's getting closer. So how could they rank a university? You were saying they track the university's professors and associate professors or research. What's the research they do? Can you explain more, Marissa?
Yeah, I would just say it's about how good the research is from the professors that are at the university and how helpful it is, basically.
Okay, I don't know if you understand what you're saying exactly, but that's absolutely true. Most every university in the world is ranked according to a certain number of features that people survey around the world. That survey is usually done amongst professors, not students. So when people rank universities, most people don't even ask students their opinion. They ask other professors, which other university do you respect the most? And that gets answered by professors looking at the research of other professors. So generally, most universities will identify the best universities as the universities that have the most research and the highest level research or the most publications. If you do that, make sure that you realize universities focus on research, not usually students. So think about that. It's so important. That's how universities are made. You need to think about what is your resume showing. You've taken a class, but most people don't really care what classes you've taken. They care what else you're doing. So get an internship. Having that experience will make your resume better than others. Take your class papers. Publish your class papers. Even if your class papers is garbage, it looks better than other people that don't have publications. So those type of things is usually what the world looks at. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's fair. I'm saying that's the way the world works. And the CEO of Anheuser-Busch InBev, he's saying the same thing. It depends on the culture of the company, the culture of the university, the culture of the organization, and the people, and your dream. If you want to be the best, you need to focus on the best. So starting our class this semester, make sure you surround yourself with the best students you think you can in your group, and try to have advisors or mentors to do your classwork, and then try to publish your classwork any way you can so that will help you. So that's what we're talking about here. Universities rise in ranking because the number of publications they have, the quality of publications they have, that's almost 80% of all rankings come from there. Next, so if we look a little bit more at this, companies and universities usually maintain the status quo. They don't usually change after they've started. So start from the beginning. The CEO, Anheuser-Busch InBev, he achieved excellence by adopting a philosophy consisting of a dream with the right people and the right culture. And so the dream is that there's no visions, there's no mission statements, only a dream. The CEO says the dream for his company is to be the best company in the world, the best beer company in the world. Very simple. How do you get to be the best? It says 80% of the actions should be based on a plan. So make your plan, write down your plan in our class Excel file. It's not like a normal class, but I don't want to be like a normal class. I want you to be prepared for the real world. Start making your plans for the semester at the beginning. Even if the Excel sheet doesn't work, by thinking about your plan and writing anything down, you will start faster moving towards your results than somebody that only starts at the last week in December. So 80% comes from making your plan. And what he says in here is that next part. Make sure you understand the dream about passion is very big. Whether you dream big or dream small, the energy output is the same. Everybody's going to have the same amount of energy. But if you dream big, you get big results. Samsung talks about huge things, big things, and they get huge results. You need to do the same. Don't think small. Don't apply for a small grant. Go for the $1 million grant. don't just go for a small research paper for a small no-name company. Try to learn from the best, the biggest. Many companies talk about having fun. And so he does not believe, the CEO does not believe that is strong enough. You need to actually not only have passion, but accomplish this by people around you doing the same thing. So surround yourself with very good people. Attract, retain, develop, and promote talented and skilled people. So make sure you are one of those. Surround yourself with those. So if we go down this, I want to read almost all of this. We are slowly going to be running out of time. How much more time do we have in class? We've got a little bit more time. So if we go through this, can I get, how about Jenny Wynn? Jenny Wynn, are you there?
Yeah.
Can you start reading the first line from People for a Successful Company? Can you read just one sentence and then pick somebody else to read the next sentence?
Okay. For a company to be successful, it must attract, retain, develop, and promote talented and skilled people.
Good.
Yes, I'll choose Hamin Pak.
Great. Hamin Pak, your turn. Can you read 2 sentences? If anybody wants to volunteer and put your hand up, you can, but I'm going to be, if you work in a hierarchy and remain quiet, I have to be the dictator, so we're just picking somebody. Picking somebody. Picking somebody. Picking somebody. Picking somebody.
Can I read it right now?
Hamin Park, go ahead.
Yeah. Additionally, great people attract more great people, while the opposite is also true. A company of mediocre people will attract other mediocre people.
Yes. So this mediocre means middle level people. If you're so-so, a company with so-so people attracts so-so people. Who do you want to pick to read the rest of this first paragraph?
Should I pick one student?
Yeah. Yes.
Kyung-gun Jung.
Great.
Okay, can I start reading?
Yes, please.
The reason for this is that in a company of mediocre people, no one will challenge anyone else. By hiring mediocre people, there is no incentive for anyone to work harder. Everyone enables each other to do average work, and there is no need for competition. On the other hand, talented people will seek to challenge one another and will strive to reach greater heights, and while constantly raising the bar on productivity and accomplishment.
Great. Can I get for a second? And
sure.
Although you're reading perfectly well, I want to hear from you guys about what you said. How many of you are challenging other people to do better? How many of you are trying to look for other people that will challenge you to do more? If you're not, should you give up trying to get a job in the best companies? Is there anybody that can give me an example of how you are trying to be challenged? Going once, obviously. If you're top quality people, you should be able to answer this quickly. Put your hand up quickly. Anyway, you get the point. Make sure you push each other. Push yourself. Can you keep reading? Continue. Finish the sentence, the paragraph.
Sure. Mr. Brito recommends that companies hire smart people who can benefit and learn from training. Great workers recognize that working with other high achievers will help everyone to get ahead more quickly and to get promoted. Even those with personal agendas of reaching higher levels will ultimately benefit themselves as well as the company through their desire to succeed. Additionally, Mr. Brito seeks to hire leaders with the ability to find, train, and develop workers, much like coaches to do with sports teams. The full involvement of all people will result in a company's success as well as employees' success.
Great, thank you very much for that. So that, I think, is really important. That's why I was getting the students to be active. Make sure you understand those paragraphs. It goes on and it talks about meritocracy. So meritocracy relates to the idea that great workers will recognize what needs to be done and they will not need to be told what to do. I'm trying to encourage our class to be this way. I am showing our class, we have these PPT. Some of these classes have video lectures and special articles already prepared. You can learn this just by checking through it on your own. But to be most successful, it's best if you know what needs to be done and you propose some solution on your own. Don't wait for the teacher to tell you what to do. I don't want to talk in class. If you want to be a very good human resource professional, you should learn how to manage the people around you, including in this class. So in your weekly topics, start suggesting articles like this to discuss. Start discussing what you want to do. Felix, Marissa, I believe you two, and maybe some of the other students, you are interested in focusing on how to compensate people well. Well, the executive from Samsung, they're focused on exactly that. But it's not just focused on how to pay them well, because just commission-based could corrupt a system and lead to almost theft type business. But there's other things. So you need to understand, how can you reward good workers? By rewarding great performing workers, mediocre workers may feel neglected and unhappy, ultimately leaving the company. And whether it's good or bad, I'm basing this class off of my experience and the research showing that you will get points for putting your hand up and volunteering to speak. If you want, you can say you're speaking part of a company, a group, and everybody in the group gets the points. And then you can take the rest of the week off. If you are quiet in class, you're going to get at most 90% in this class, because 10 marks come just from your proactive contributions. So make sure you realize that our class is rewarding people that perform and are proactive. Share things in the Facebook group, share things in the Excel file, share things by putting your hand up in class. Learn to get into that habit quickly. This CEO, Mr. Brito, believes this is a very good thing, and I agree. If people are performing poorly, it's better for the company if they leave and find somewhere else. So you can change classes. It's not too late to change classes. Same thing for our class. Make sure that you understand that talented workers like to know where they stand and they appreciate the candor. So I don't have what other classes have, just one big exam at the end. I am giving marks every week. If you are good, you can get a point just for being proactive each week. And if you want to promote one of the weekly topics, you can get an extra 10 marks for managing that. So automatically there's 30 marks just there. And by sharing what you're doing for your research project, you can get an extra 10 marks for there. So that's 40 marks just for being proactive, all on your own. So next, Felix, I see your hand up. Thank you. What would you like to say?
want to say something. I think maybe talented workers are not the most what you want in a company. I think you want to have them motivated. So if you have unmotivated, talented workers in your company, it doesn't help you more than if you have like an untalented, motivated worker.
Absolutely.
So like, I think there was like an example from Google. They had like, they give the workers 1 day a week to do what they want. And I think that's the way how Google Maps was, or Google Earth was developed by this way.
Yes, that's a good point. So learning how to motivate people is super, super important. I know a lot of good people that have left companies. I worked for some of the highest tech companies on the planet, and almost all of the best people there left, even though the company paid $1 million stock options. So they had the highest amount of money around, but people still walk away because of the culture of the organization. So you have to have the right people, but you have to be surrounded by other top people. And if everybody's top people around you, you continue to push each other and motivate each other to grow. And that relates to being, as Felix identified, in a top culture. It's not just yourself, but it's all of the company. Each person should realize you are part of the company. You as a student, many people in Korea, many students in Korea think, oh, I'm just a student, I have to do what the teacher says, but you forget, you as a student pay my salary. Students pay for what the teachers do. And if you don't like it, you can complain. I work hoping that I'm going to be pushing students so much they will be uncomfortable at the beginning of term, but by the end of term, they should have learned so much that they should hope that this class is going to be evaluated as a perfect class. If it's not perfect, I did not do my job well enough. So make sure you realize this culture is important. Ask other people around you, ask other students, other employees in the company to consider, what do the consumers expect the company to do with the money you earn? Does the company put the money into activities that a consumer will appreciate, such as new product development or sponsorship or social responsibility? Note again here, I did not write this, but this idea of social responsibility is what I've been telling students. You should be applying for a grant. I haven't seen any students asking me about grant questions yet. If you don't apply quickly, maybe you can't get paid to do this class work. Maybe your grant is only going to be good at the end. So be proactive. Or does the company or does the university, do you use the university money? Do you use the company money just for fancy buildings, just for fancy office stuff, just for a company jet or details? So that's something that consumers don't care about. Many companies are doing things wrong. Don't copy what wrong actions are done in front of you. Think deeply, research what is best, benchmark the best practices, follow the textbooks and the benchmarks, and surround yourself with the best ways to go forward. So yes, make sure you surround yourself in a company culture. Get an internship now and check if the company culture matches you. If you just wait until you graduate and then get a job in some company, and then you find out that your boss or the company culture is not a good fit, maybe your life is going to be terrible, and you might feel it hard to change. But now as a young student, you can take many internships and test the company culture. Make sure it matches your style. That also relates to humanmetrics.com. So with this in mind, we've gone through almost everything that we've talked about, everything that we need to talk about. Overall, Mr. Brito, he's talking about corporate culture should focus on leadership and actions speak louder than words. Mr. Brito, in his company, a leader is anyone who needs a team to accomplish goals. Leaders, they're not selfish and they share responsibility and credit with others. Fine. He asks that leaders demand results from their teams on a consistent basis. Fine. I am doing that also. I hope you start doing that also. Don't just follow me. You can make proposals. Additionally, I want leaders, and he wants leaders to develop processes for the work to be done right and right away, so actions can be replicated by others in the company. If you manage weekly topic 2 this week, other people in week 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 will see how you're doing it and be able to do it better and better and better. And that means you will get more benefit. So follow that way. It's not just one simple act of genius. It is a culture of people working together. A final aspect of corporate culture is that there are no shortcuts. Many companies start out with good intentions, but then they seek ways around them. Maybe it might take too much time. So a good company should invest in their people, nurture them from the ground up, recognize that it takes time to achieve greatness. It is a combination of a dream. What is your dream? What are the people around you? What is the culture around you? And what are you going to do with that? Does anybody want to give some comments about what you can do in this class, this semester, to get more benefit? Anybody? What can you do in this class to get the most benefit for your future? How about Javokir Abdulev? Sorry if I said your name wrong. Any comments from you?
Professor, could you please repeat the question, please?
The question was, what can you do to make sure you're going to get the best results this semester?
First of all, I have to study hard, and I have to follow the instructions what the professor said.
Are you sure? Bill Gates didn't. Steve Jobs didn't. He did their own thing. What you just said is a very popular answer in Korea for a lot of Korean students. They have to work hard, do what the teacher says. The teachers like that. But I don't. I know that even though I have a good past, you have more potential than me. There are more good people out there, more connected to you and your future than I had when I was your age. So that's a good point. Work hard, do what the teacher says, but I prefer you be proactive. Start taking responsibility yourself and start promoting details yourself. You can promote your own weekly topic and your own research topic and start sharing those details. Marisa, you have your hand up? I'd like to hear from you now.
Yeah, I think it's mostly about pairing up with different people with like different aspects from different cultural backgrounds and like different experiences in life, so you can learn from other people. I think this is like the most important thing, that you like develop yourself and your knowledge, that you get more open-minded and know what you want yourself. And
okay, so
that's, yeah.
You've said 2 or 3 different things. You've said, try to work with people from another culture. And I think you were talking about getting into the class groups with people from another culture. And then you started talking about something else. What was the other thing you were talking about?
Yeah, that the people that you get into the groups with, that they have like different aspects and you have like different backgrounds, and that you like also meet with people that maybe also share the same dream and like the same goals in life, but have like different backgrounds, as I just said. So you get more open-minded and learn.
How can you do that? How have we done it in class? I have started, but I have specifically left out some things because I'm already too different from most professors. How is my class, our class, helping you work with other people now? And how can you identify other people's culture?
I mean, you left it open for us to choose our team members. So, for example, what I did, I just posted on Facebook that I don't know anybody and I want to pair with different people that share the same interest as me, and it worked out pretty fine. So that was like the first step you could take. Yes, I think that's my way how I did it.
So if you guys, I think you can still see my screen. I have made this Excel file, and most teachers do not use this. It does have some problems, but the purpose is for you guys to see that number one, you can share your personal Facebook page, or you can go over and share your Kakao page or WhatsApp page. Some students like to work, and the executives in Samsung, they prefer to work by WhatsApp. So if you share this information, you can go there and start chatting with other people exactly about what your interests are. And as Marissa said, I've also identified in hot pink here the weekly topic. So I'm not saying here you have to list who you will work with. That's different. This just says what weekly topic you like. And then if you sign somebody else interested in the same thing, you can contact them with their email address, their Facebook, or their phone number, or their Kakao. You can partner with those people and check them out. I've also identified a few other things. I've said some things, maybe some students did not hear it, but I've said you should go through the Carl Jung Briggs Meyer typology indicators, or www.humanmetrics.com. That will identify your personality style, your learning style, your characteristics, your skills, and it will introduce you to how you can better communicate with other people, or what characteristics of other people will match you best. So don't just walk into any company. Don't just agree to work with any strangers. If you really want the best success, find out who is you, who are you, what are your skills, and what other skills will better match you. So that's the first job of HR. Identify who are you, what is the company culture, what are the company jobs, and then start identifying the personality style, the learning style, the communicating style of each worker. And when they interact together with other people, you can share with them how, oh, your boss has a different learning style. You need to work with visual information, while he likes to work with written information. So if you start changing those things, you have more success. So yes, those type of things, that's not required in my class, but if you do it, if you ask me for how you can develop more, you should go through humanmetrics.com to identify those details. Next, I also say that we may be able to work with other classes and students from other classes studying the same thing. Almost everybody on the planet now is studying online, but almost no universities are talking about partnering with other universities. Most other professors should partner with other professors so your students can learn, especially in international business, how to manage with people from another culture. So if you are interested, we may be able to introduce classes in Vietnam or India or Nepal or Denmark. So thank you for that. Anyway, it's about time. I have gone through the PPT for today, the article for today. Our next class will be 5 p.m. September 10. It's not a regular class. 5 p.m. September 10 on Thursday, I am going to be introducing you guys to the executives from Samsung and other professors from other countries that may be able to introduce you to other students and ways of doing things. And you may be able to get internships, job experience, working with them. So please prepare for that. The information Ali has kindly put into the Excel file in this pink area. The Google Online file has some details. There's Google Documents. There's sign-up forms to share your information. Also plan to share what internship you want to work on. 3 of them have been listed so far. More of them will come. With that said, class is finished. Anybody else want to try to get a participation point today, or ask a question, or give a comment?
Professor, I have a question.
Okay, Ji-Hwan So, go ahead.
So there's no class on Wednesday?
Wednesday, there is information in the Excel file, and we will have the PPT and articles in the CTL, but because on Thursday afternoon at 5 o'clock, I'm going to have a special session. I don't want to force you to have to go to 3 different sessions. I can say that you can skip the Wednesday session and just come to the Thursday if you want to hear from the other executives and the other professors. Is that clear?
Yes, Professor. Thank you.
I will, however, continue to interact on Wednesday. You don't need to come, but this will make 3 classes this week, basically optional classes, because later in the year, we'll have national holidays. And when our class is canceled because of a national holiday, we need to make a makeup class. So the makeup class actually is the Thursday, September 10 at 5 p.m. We're having an early makeup class in advance of the national holiday. I will mark everybody as being in attendance in week 1 and week 2. I'll be generous with that, but going forward, week 3, you must show me what are your groups, what are the projects you're going to be presenting. Hopefully, people will be presenting from next week, and not too many people have started that yet, so please be as proactive as you can. Thank you for that comment. Any other comments?
Professor, I have a question about the 3rd week's plan.
Yes.
I've seen that we have to make a short PPT file and we have to present to you, but do we have to present it on during the class, or do we make a private appointment? I'm not sure.
For week 3, you should all go through this Excel file and show people what weekly topic you're going to do and what term project you're going to do, what company you're going to focus on, and start showing how you've started some of the work. For example, find a person in the company you might contact in the future, or find a video in YouTube related to your interest, or find an article related to your term project. Start showing some of those details week 3 at the beginning of the term. That's what I'm talking about. I'm going to be going through next week and asking several people, for example, to show me what you have filled out. Show me your week, this Excel file. Does that make sense?
Yes, Professor.
If we go through that quickly, if there's no questions, I will continue part of the PPT we've already started, and I will jump into the PPT for the next week with recruitment to make things easier for you. But it is best all semester long if students can start doing their own research. In general, we have more than 10 weeks together, so your term paper requires you to find at least 10 journal articles, and that equals 1 journal article per week. So try to start finding journal articles and sharing that next week related to your weekly topic or your research term project. Thank you for that question. Class is finished. Anybody else? Felix, you've said a lot. Do you have any more questions? Or Hojang Jo, you said a little bit. Any more questions? Javo Kavir Abdullah, I asked you earlier if you had questions, but I didn't hear from you. Are you actually in class? Anybody else? Questions?
Yes.
Who is saying yes? Javo Kavir?
Javokir, yes. I'm in class.
Do you have any questions or comments? Is there anything
No.
that I can do to help you get more success out of this class?
No, I don't have any question, Professor.
Okay. Are you going to evaluate this class as perfect then? You think this is perfect?
Maybe we will, at the end of semester, maybe. It is, I only took first class.
You're right. This is just one of the first classes, and most people wait until the end of the semester, but I am different. I would like to always continuously upgrade. So if you have anything that you've done in some other class that you loved, tell me about it. Maybe we can do it in this class. If you have some suggestions to make this class more educational, more insightful, more connected, more interesting, let me know. I hope you realize that I have created all of the PPT. We have the textbook, we have the articles, we have videos, but we also have other professors around the world and other companies able to give you experience. Maybe there's more we can do too. Thanks. Have a good day.
Thank you.
What about Shokobo Ali? Do you know how to say this name here? Shokobo Abdullah?
I'm not really sure yet.
Oh no, Shakabo Almuratov. That was the same person in the earlier class too, right?
Yes, right.
Shakabo Almuratov, you supposedly are still in class right now. Can you comment to me? I think that maybe your system is automatically registering you, but you are not participating in class, so we need to talk. Okay? What about Joe Songa? Joe Songa, do you have any comments?
I don't have any question or comment.
Do you have a question?
No.
Oh, okay. Are you happy? Is this perfect class for you?
Yes.
You're lying. Really? Is it because
Yes.
Ali is so amazing? Ali has sent you many different emails and Excel sign-up sheets and survey forms. Do you like Ali's way of getting information from you? What
Yeah.
would you like to improve with class? What would be an even better class from heaven?
So as I can see here, Jo Sung Ha, so you are interested in topic 9, incentive pay system, right?
Yes.
So I think you're the one that might be working with Marissa and Felix, talking about the Boni Nam internship program with Samsung, project number 3. Is that right?
So in here is note that topic number 9 in HRM class.
Okay, so topic number 9 is talking about career development. Is that right? Joe Songa, what aspects are you interested in? Maybe we scared her away, Ali. Anyway, good try. I appreciate you trying to help the students and sharing more information.
I think that is 9, incentive pay systems in HRM class in the week 13.
Oh, no, so week 9 is talking about career development and week 13 is talking about incentive pay systems.
Yeah.
So you think she is focused on incentive pay systems in week 13?
Yeah, right.
And,
yes.
And Ali, you know that matches the Samsung internship project option number 3, right? The Samsung internship number 3 is looking for a way to compensate almost all Samsung employees around the world so that the customers get better treatment.
Yes. So today I'm going to send our students the 3 topics that they can focus on. It's actually shows on their form when they submit, but today I will try to send the email again to make sure
Those are the possibilities. Those are suggestions from these executives. We can take other suggestions. The executives might be able to mentor other topics also. Those are just the first 3.
Yes.
Okay. Felix, are you still around, waiting to chat?
Yeah, I'm still around.
Did I hear that you wanted to talk now?
Yeah, I think Marissa sent an email. We had like in the background a little of a chat. I don't understand what they said there. Maybe Marissa. I think I'm a little bit confused now. Can you say something?
Yes. Just give me a quick second. We were just a bit confused about our weekly topic and the relation concerning the final project and the working together with the company, because we chose week 10.
So week 10
performance management systems.
Performance management, yes.
Exactly. And you wrote me in the email, it's related to topic 3. And so basically what we researched for the weekly quiz and the weekly topic, it's pretty much the same as what we're going to write about in the end, right? Or not?
Your question seems to cover many different topics. So the first question I heard you say is you want to focus on week 10 talking about performance management. So
exactly.
To answer that, you need to make sure your performance management is written down in the HRM attendance under the weekly topic area.
Yes.
And eventually you can put a link to an article that you want to discuss in class, or a video that you want the class to discuss, or a PPT that you want the class to discuss. You can take the information from our class already, like here is the teacher's notes and the PPT form is here. You can copy this and paste this into your area. But I prefer if you make something better yourself, like your own PPT or your own video or your own article that you want to talk about, as soon as possible, definitely minimum 1 week before November 2, including you need to have a quiz. Whatever you're going to be teaching, have a small quiz for the class and share the questions and answers with me so I can check to make sure they're reasonable. Do that 1 week before November 2. That's clear?
Yes, that's clear. Just to make sure I got it right. So our weekly topic is only a small pinch of the topic, performance management system, right? So we just take an article that we find interesting and then we talk about this and teach the class, right?
Correct.
Because it's
Absolutely.
only like 15 minutes or less, wasn't it like that? Like 10 minutes?
It could be. Most people usually go through and talk for about 20 minutes in the past, but it's up to you. As long as you feel that you've taught the material, how you motivate your class or your company of workers and how you evaluate them, it's up to you. You will have the control of the time. There will be other people like me. I will want to say something that week, so I need a little bit of time. Maybe another group might want to say something also, but so far other people haven't reserved the exact time. For example, 9 o'clock to 9:12 or 9:25, that's up to you. So yes, you're correct. You focus on that one small part of the weekly activity, correct. You present it as soon as you can, and then we'll have other people discuss it afterwards. But at the same time, if you really like it, you can do the term paper related to that. And every week, you should be finding an article to help your term paper, correct?
Yes, okay. Okay, now I got it, yes.
And so if you find a term paper related to it next week, you can share that in class next week. And in this Excel file, you'll get points for your weekly contribution. So you get points for talking about the topic, and if you contribute something, you get additional points for that.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, we just got confused because it's so different from what we do in Germany or Denmark. That's why.
Completely understand, and
Okay.
I encourage you. Can you give me a comment about what was the best educational experience you had in the past, and how could we modify our class to maybe replicate that? Can you give some suggestions?
That's actually different because this year was the first year of doing online class, but last semester we did what was that? International Management and Leadership class, and we had groups as well. And we all had to prepare a teaching lesson for 90 minutes. And we were preparing like different tasks, how to get into the topic, and then group work also online, and teaching the theory at the same time. So everybody like had to speak, had to contribute something. So that was like really intense, but we also learned a lot. So that's pretty similar, but in this class is like not a whole teaching class that we do, like not 90 minutes.
So we're doing the same thing, but easier and more flexible. So if you want to take, actually we don't have any 90-minute classes. I think the longest we have is 75-minute classes.
Yes.
But if you want to take a full 75-minute, you can in this class.
Okay.
Some students are afraid of talking. And so if they want to just share a movie or an article and only talk for 5 minutes, that can be acceptable, but I encourage you to push yourself to do the most. Try to surround yourself with the best people. Don't focus on doing the minimum. If I see you trying to do more, I will help you develop and do even more and even better.
Okay, sounds good.
That's it.
Another question. I hear somebody else saying something. Yes?
Minsu.
Minsu, hi.
I'm also from the group with Marisa and Felix. We also had another question regarding the grant part. We were wondering if the grant that there was on the PPT says that how to make grant application and everything. We were wondering if it is supposed to be applied to the final project, to the final paper, right? But it is something that everyone has to really apply, or kind of just write down the application form.
If you're working in a group, you will have a group paper, and you need to have at least one group grant application. If you want to have more than one, that's great. But yes, the group term project needs to have a paper. You need to present the details by PowerPoint or by Prezi, and you need to make a YouTube video of it, and you need to also make a small grant application. They should all be connected about the same type of topic. Does that answer your question?
Yes. So the video is a video of us presenting the presentation that will be shown in class, or we do the separate presentation during the class?
Can you guys still see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and if you go over to the bottom work page, FAQ, frequently asked questions, you will see there's introduction talking about how to make the grants here. I think that's clear to you. How to do a video. There are, I don't know, 30 different videos of other students doing things before. So you can go through and make your own video. I could show you this video, for example. It was, this was done by people, I believe, also in Denmark, and people from Saudi Arabia and some other countries. They worked together. They made their video 22 minutes, making their presentation. It's up to you. It needs to be at least 3 minutes long. This one in green is one that a bunch of very young students made in the past. There's music in it. There's graphics in it. And if you can still see this video?
Yes.
They're focused on teaching what is disruptive management information system by these free analytics programs. So at the beginning, it's quite analytics, and they show here one of the world's best experts, what he teaches. So they bring some, like a guest speaker in to speak for like 5 minutes, And then the actual students, you can jump through and you can see this part. They're going through their own PPT, but this student, you can see here, it's just talking in a classroom in front of other people and somebody else had a cell phone recording them. So this is their video. I think this is one of the best videos students have shown me, but I do not require you to learn programming or animation or things like that. You can just have the video of your phone in front of you for 5 minutes, and that should be good enough. I encourage you to try to learn how to make good videos because it's becoming more and more important for business, but that's up to you. Does that answer your question about the video?
Yes, thank you.
There are many different examples of student videos and projects and papers in the past. If you want, I can share some of them with you. Did you see the information here about how to make a grant?
Yes, I've seen it.
And you saw, for example, the Ford Foundation, it only requires maybe...
Yeah, I had a look in the different portals, website portals. Also,
Okay.
like in the EU or European Union is also like a web page for the same.
Yes, you can find grants anywhere. I give a link to hundreds of possible grants. I'm showing on my screen right now, this DFWGO, that is a list of most multinational companies in the United States, their grant emails and phone numbers and contacts and details there. This Foundation Center is another organization that introduced many grants. Ford Foundation is a very popular, easy one that I've worked with several times. And it looks generally, the Ford Foundation actually looks easier than this right now. But yeah, in here, these are the links to where you can get grants. I'm open to anywhere. Just the main thing I'm teaching you with grants is that students nowadays have an incredible opportunity. Not only can you get paid to do classwork, but you should know the most valuable company in the world right now is the Saudi Arabia oil company, worth what is it, $1.8 trillion. They have to give money back to society. Otherwise, people are going to think they're just too rich and they're bad. Microsoft, I think, is number 2, or something like $1.6 trillion. So they're giving, like, Bill Gates is giving away $40 billion, fairly quickly. A lot of it goes to students. So they have to give money away. You are one of the ones that easily qualifies. So I'm just showing you, you can get money to do classwork. You can get money to help any project you basically want. If you use it for a company you want to work with, you can use $1 million from Microsoft, hire world experts to come teach your company how to improve. And your target company, like if you want to work with Samsung, should love you. It guarantees you a job, right? I'm just trying to make sure you're aware of that connection.
Yes.
Yeah, it's an amazing opportunity.
I think so. Maybe. Anyway, I'm talking too much. If you have questions, I'd be happy to answer. Thank you.
Maybe you just ask Marissa for her best studying experience. For me, was it like where I study in Austria? It's like we have 2 semesters where we work with a company directly and make a projects for them. And for me, that was like the most thing I've learned. So like last semester, we programmed a collaborative robot, so a new kind of robot. And last semester, we had like online, we tried to implement it in smart home or smart strategy with smart machine learning in a popular chainsaw. It's like steel industry. That was like motor chain producing or something like that to make an energy out of it.
Have any of you worked for Samsung before?
No.
No.
Oh, well, congratulations. You have a Samsung job if you're interested, an internship this course. And everything that you guys were just saying, these executives are connected with that stuff. Some of these executives are negotiating between Samsung and Google to have a partnership to make a new messaging app just like Kakao. Maybe I'm not supposed to be talking about this too much. Other guys, they have worked with, as I said, managing all of the Samsung operations around the world and how to make sure the staff in other countries work as best as they can. A long time ago, I used to be an executive for Samsung, and I was hired by the chairman to motivate Samsung executives, and you would not believe what they used to do. I'm not even going to ask you because nobody could believe this. Samsung used to literally torture their executives. Seriously. Samsung executives, they would take all the rest of the top Samsung executives and they'd take them out to a resort community, put them into a nice hotel, and then they would wake them up at like 3 o'clock in the morning with like a coach screaming and yelling, get out of the air, you know, go down to the ocean, get into the freezing cold water, run through the water for 3 kilometers, no eating, no time for change, and just go in your pajamas. And then after 3 hours of jogging in ice cold water, they'd come up and they'd have like 15 minutes for breakfast. And at the same time as 15 minutes of breakfast, they would get screamed at as another lecture. And that would go on all weekend. They used to literally torture their executives. And the thinking was that these executives of Samsung are supposed to be the best in the country already. But if they're slowing down in work, maybe they're getting burnt out in work, and then they experience how really hard life is, like torture, then when they go back to the office on Monday morning, they're going to feel relaxed. Regular work's not so bad. So my job was to stop that torture.
So they don't do it anymore, right?
They listen to me, fortunately, and they have stopped torturing their staff. But these new executives that are there, they're still doing the same type of thing. They're advising Samsung on how to do international activities. And you can work with them on this stuff. Anything from Internet of Things to compensation to launching new programs and partnerships. You could be presenting in front of Google if you get in touch with these guys quickly. They have to give a good presentation to Google very soon. I would suggest you guys come up with a couple of questions or show that you're a good student that, you know, deserves mentorship to become even better. I can share with you the resume of some of these guys. Anyway, yes, you've got a lot of potential here. I hope you feel it helps. I hope you agree it helps. Any other questions?
I think we got all of our questions answered. Yeah.
and too much more probably. Okay.
We met yesterday and we talked about what questions we had regarding it. And I think we got everything answered. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Professor, I have just one more comment.
Sure.
I didn't know about the lecture, special lecture on Thursday, and I actually have a part-time job during the night, like afternoon night on Thursdays. And I might not be
Felix and maybe Marissa might be there. They can take notes.
Yeah,
and,
I will be there.
Yeah.
That's not a problem.
We will also video record the details. Because I already know of your group, I will be introducing you guys to these consultants anyway. There is a chance that some other professors from Denmark might say hello. You may miss talking with them, but something tells me you have pretty good connections with Scandinavia already.
Yeah, that's true.
The lecture on Thursday would be like 1 hour and 50 minutes as normal? Or
no, the lecture is 5 p.m. September 10th, which is Thursday, and it's just going to be long enough to introduce the overview idea of all students need to do this research paper and try to work with a company and why students might be able to have an internship. And so I'm going to introduce other possible people like these executives that can supervise or mentor some students for some potential projects. And I'm going to introduce the other professors from around the world that may be able to share their class with our class. I like the idea of having a session where I teach and we don't just have the 40 Korean university students in Zoom, but maybe we have 200 people from around the world, and people from many different countries are interacting together. So that's what I'm trying to set up. But our university, Kim Young University, that's very new to them. And so far, I think the dean and the chair, they're saying that they don't want to stress the students too much. So I'm not going to push that unless the students show me that you're interested.
Okay, I got it. Okay,
That's it.
Professor.
Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.